This week's video is all about TikTok tips and how I started a TikTok that has over 600,000 followers. I have a lot of thoughts about TikTok. I have a lot of thoughts about how to grow a TikTok. And my biggest thing is that it is not something that you can just be willy-nilly about. Like, you have to have an exact strategy, and there's certain things that I did that allowed me to grow really, really fast. And so I thought I would go through and share some of those tips. In case you are looking to start a TikTok, the one thing I can say is that starting a TikTok changed my businesses. They changed my businesses and honestly my life more than I could have ever imagined them to. I pushed off starting a TikTok for a really long time, and I am so glad that they did, because my life would not be what my life is without starting one. So let's get into the TikTok and tricks that I swear by. A little bit of background about me is I have a blog by Sophia Lee, which I started back in 2017. I grew the blog for a few years before I even got into any type of social media, and then I started Instagram. I had Instagram for about a year before TikTok even started becoming a thing. Or I guess when I started, my Instagram was like right when TikTok started to become a thing, and then I probably waited another year to start it. And finally, I was listening to like a Gary Vee podcast or something, and he's like, you have to start a TikTok. Like, if you don't start a TikTok, you're flushing away your business or something. And I was like, oh my God, okay, fine, I'll like start a TikTok. And I cannot tell you how glad I am that I started one. The thing that I had the background knowledge of was I already knew that there were strategies for growing an Instagram, a blog, and like a Pinterest, which is what the ones that I already had. And they were very specific strategies. And I am a very strategic person in general. So here are some of the things that I did that have allowed me to get to over 600,000 followers. The first thing when starting a TikTok that you need to get into your head if you want to grow quickly is one of my favorite quotes about social media is, no one cares about you, they only care about themselves. So when I first started my TikTok, every single video that I made was geared to helping the viewer. I did not make it about myself. I only made it about the viewer. As you get bigger and bigger, people then start caring about you. So now I'm at the point where, like, honestly, I still, all the videos that I'm giving them a product that they can use, or I'm creating a video that's for them versus about me, always do better. But I can still have the ones about me do fine. Where before, oh my gosh, like they would get literally no views if they were about me, but if I made it about them, I would get thousands and thousands of views. So that is the very biggest tip that I have for you, is that in the beginning, for at least the first year, every single video should be put in the viewpoint of the viewer. And it's really easy to do. So it's just shifting your mindset. So an example that I always give, instead of being like my favorite skincare products, you could do like skincare products that will change your skin, or like skincare products that will change your life. It's the same video, you know, like you're still showing your favorite skincare products, but it shifts the purpose of the video for the viewer, thinking it's about them versus about you. And I think a good example of like once you get big enough, people start caring about you is like Alix Earle, for example, if you know her. She's a huge TikToker. I would assume you would know her if you're trying to get on TikTok. But she's at the point where like people will care more about what skincare products she's using versus the ones that will change their skin. But like in the beginning, no one cared about, you know, like no one cared about her specifically. They only cared about themselves. But she then got to a point where people then started caring about her. So make all of your videos in the beginning to be about the viewer, and it will change the game for you. Second thing, create a content calendar. Creating a content calendar is so helpful for just thinking about content in general instead of pulling it out of your butt. You cannot pull videos out of your butt. Like well, you can obviously, but like you will be so much more successful by really thinking about what videos you're posting and when you're posting them. My biggest thing when you're creating a content calendar, or I guess what I like to do, is I have like a content planner. And so it's specifically for content planners, and here are some of my like favorite pages in it that I like to use. But in the content planning section, I will go and I will basically have like a piece of paper next to me, and then I'll have the planner. Now on the piece of paper, I just write down a ton of different ideas. I'll go to my favorite TikTokers that I think have similar content as me, and I'll write down what videos they did that I liked. I will research, look up SEO in my social media course. You can see exactly how I do this. I'm trying not to give away too much information because I don't want to offend people that bought that, but look up what other people are searching for and think about when you're posting them. So like obviously if it's in the middle of summer, I'm probably not going to post a Christmas video. But when do people start thinking about Christmas? That's when you should start posting your Christmas videos. And then I will go and I will actually like put them into my planner. Once I have them in my planner, I then move it over to Google Calendars. Again, slight plug, but if you want to know exactly how I handle my social medias, like nitty gritty on how I do it, I have a social media course and it's priced really affordably, and it goes over like everything. But create a content calendar, and then you need to be posting regularly on your content or on your TikTok. So my thing is that if you can only post one video a week, then only post one video a week. Do not go posting 6 videos one week and 1 video the next week, and then the next week posting 0, and then the next week posting 6 videos again. You want to make sure that you are consistent, and with TikTok you have to show up a lot. So my suggestion, and I have learned this through my own, is that you need to be posting at least 3 times a week on TikTok, and that needs to be consistently 3 times a week. When I first started TikTok, I was posting probably 5 times a week, and then I had an insane year where my businesses were really growing. I got married and I could not handle posting 3 times a week, and I would post so inconsistently, and it destroyed my TikTok. Like the difference between when I was posting consistently versus when I was like all over the place was bigger than I could have ever imagined it. So I can firsthand tell you that if you want to be successful on TikTok, you need to be posting regularly. I still feel like I'm catching up from last year when I was not posting as much. Now I'm back to posting 5 days. I try to post 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday, I post a video. Sometimes I get 6 days a week in there. But still, like I cannot even imagine if I would have done that 5 days a week last year, my following would have been even bigger than what it is right now. So just go into it. If you're going to start a TikTok, you have to be consistent with it, and it is a lot of time, but it's fun too. I really enjoy it, and you have to enjoy it. Otherwise you'll quit, because it gets like, it's a lot more work than people think it is. Buy a tripod. This is a tripod that I have from Amazon. Any tripod will work, obviously. I've gone through a ton of different tripods, and this is just my favorite one because the top of it moves around and it's just really easy to use. At the start of the video, you have about 10 seconds to get someone's attention. So in that 10 seconds, you need to be catchy. You want to, obviously, you don't want to be spammy, so you want to provide them with what the actual video will be. But you need to get their attention right away. And like I said, you have about 10 seconds to get their attention. And my last tip for starting a TikTok is, in the beginning, try to keep the TikTok under 1 minute. I find that that is the sweet spot for making sure that people watch it majority of the way through, especially if you have a catchy phrase in the beginning of your video. But the longer that people watch your video on TikTok, the more TikTok will put your video out to people. So that is a very big tip of mine. That is my list of initial tips that I think that you need to know when starting a TikTok. If you follow these, your TikTok will grow so much faster. Like I said, go check out my mini social media course. It goes over my specific strategies for Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and I get in extreme detail. I tell you what editing apps I use, how I edit my videos, how I actually do my content calendar, not just me talking about it. I show you how I do it. I show you what I use. I show you how I keyword search. I mean, I literally show you everything. So we'll have the link to that course in the description. And let me know if you have any other social media questions or TikTok related questions, and I can film a follow-up video for it. I will see you at next week's blogging video.